All right, folks, this is Scott with the Game Audio Institute, and we are back in 2023. Happy New Year, everybody. So basically, we have doing another wonderful music systems analysis, and this one's going to be really, really cool. We've been mainly dealing with a lot of sort of very interactive sorts of systems in this case, but this one's going to be a pretty adaptive music system, which we're going to describe all this kind of stuff to you. Also, the other thing is that we were dealing with like kind of real world sort of situations, like, realistic fantasy and then realistic the world of Tokyo, and we're doing our Persona series and our Skyrim series, which you can watch if you want to check those links out in our channel. But in this time, we're going completely abstract to the world of Tetris. That's right, the falling blocks game. And this one's a wonderful variation on this that is called Tetris Effect. And without any further ado, let's get right into it. Tetris Effect is a 2018 game from Monstars and Resonair that gets its name from a phenomena of the same name where intense players of the popular shifting puzzle game, originally invented by Russian game designer and programmer Alexei Pajitnov, would see falling blocks even when away from the screen or when sleeping or dreaming. Now, this particular variation of the game is the brainchild of co-producer Tetsuya Mizuguchi, who's already well known for his earlier work on the rhythm-based rail shooter Rez, which got him a lot of recognition and critical acclaim as well as a bit of a cult following due to the unique visual look and gameplay, despite low sales initially. Mizuguchi continued to develop games with an especially immersive quality to them, such as a similar block-shifting game to Tetris called Lumines in 2004, as well as successors to it and Rez after 2010. The resurgence of VR in 2012 was a big inspiration to him, and it turned out also to be a pivotal year for his unrealized Tetris dreams. He had always wanted to create a unique and visually immersive rhythm-based version of Tetris driven by his passion for synesthesia, meaning seeing music as colors. But he was held back by the copyright ownership of the title by Electronic Arts, hence the development of his own variation, Lumines, during that same time period. He never forgot this dream, however, and in that year, he discovered that EA had sold its copyright to game designer and producer Hank Rogers. Mizuguchi approached him with his unique idea, and Rogers agreed to let him use Tetris to take it to the next level, and development started in earnest after that, with the game releasing 6 years later in 2018, and published by Mizuguchi's new company Enhance. In 2020, a quest-based VR version of Tetris Effect came out, which was shortly followed by an updated version called Tetris Connected, featuring networked multiplayer options. The soundtrack is mostly composed by Hidelic, a composing duo of Noboru Muto and Takako Ishida, who both worked previously on the remastered and extended version of Rez, called Rez Infinite, but with a few other composers and collaborators occasionally guesting on vocals. The 40-track soundtrack spans over 2.5 hours of music in a variety of styles and approaches, though mostly tending towards an electronic and sample-driven palette. The game features a myriad of levels, each with its own trippy visual effects driven by and reacting to the music composed by Hidelic. Just like in normal Tetris, the iconic 4 blocks, called tetriminos, appear, and the object of the game is to move each piece and place it in a line in order to clear at least the required number of block lines without running out of space due to too many blocks falling down within the game space. So let's get into how this game organizes the music. The main thing to consider is that there isn't anything outside of the gameplay deciding what tracks to play. There's no story or cutscenes and not much changing of music or moving to a different piece except when the level is cleared. The game is a completely abstract puzzle-driven game that doesn't involve any outside elements in its decision-making process. That being said, however, there's a lot of musical depth and complexity that go on in terms of how the music develops while you progress through a game level. The main organizing principle is how many lines have been cleared of the required amount, which is listed on the left side of the playing area. The level starts with single musical samples or notes which may or may not be strongly pitched, depending on the sound palette. If they are pitched, they will be within a specific mode or key center. These beginning notes or sounds are placed along with a largely static background like a single chord or loop. The individual notes and samples are different whether you are moving or placing a block, but are always in time. The notes will often have small rhythmic delays to add to the trippy and chill quality of the music as well. Once you clear the required amount of lines, the music will quickly transition you to the next, usually very different, sounding level. As far as strictly interactive actions that can result in a sound or note playing, there are several typical Tetris-oriented actions. 1. Pieces can be rotated into proper orientation. 2. Pieces can be moved around one block at a time in any direction. 3. Pieces can be soft dropped while they will accelerate downwards into position. 4. Pieces can also be hard dropped where they will instantly be in position. And 5. A stinger will always play on completion of a line. For the first two actions, that means rotation and position, these have randomized sounds based on the repeated triggering of the button or key and quantized to the rhythmic grid. There is a tendency to treat each of these as a separate timbre, so rotation gets one timbre and position gets another. Soft dropping and hard dropping are similar, but hard dropping usually gets the more intense sound effect than the former, and the line stinger will usually be a longer and broader sounding musical cue, a few seconds in length. So there's another unique feature called the zone. Basically, it's a way to rearrange lines in order to clear more of them, and you build up the zone meter by clearing lines previously in earlier levels. Once the meter is filled, you can activate the zone. And when you do this action, all music tracks will be filtered with a low-pass filter and added reverb as well. The visuals will also change, indicating that the zone is active, and the zone timer will eventually run out and return you back to the regular unfiltered music mix. So, a really important observation here is that the music is entirely driven by your progress in clearing lines, which is in turn based on your skill in playing Tetris. That is, arranging and placing the blocks so that they fit correctly. In Tetris Effect, if you do this quickly enough, you'll create smooth, natural transitions to different musical states. If you are not an experienced Tetris player, however, like yours truly, the result will be a lot of looping music that doesn't seem to change very quickly at all. So in the game, the player's expertise and level progress directly drives the pace of musical transitions. No progress, no transitions. There are a wide variety of musical and even non-musical styles covered in the game. Some levels have very accessible EDM music in various subgenres, while others sound like found samples with a rhythmic twist to them. The visuals also provide a lot of variety. We can't cover all the levels, but we'll give a sampling. Note that this is at a beginner level and in journey mode, actually in practice mode. Other modes have larger line completion requirements, so the intensity change may happen at different lines. In this particular case, our requirement was 30 lines on every level. So the opening level, The Deep, is a great example of development in the game, but it's less overly intense in its changes. This can be understood since there's a lot more levels to go through. When the level starts, there's really no background at all. Only the movement and rotation of the pieces triggers the vocal samples. The hard drop is a highly reverberant kick once placed, and a lovely blooming chord and flourish happen when a line is completed. Shortly though, there is a drony chord that comes in and creates a key bass in a Lydian mode that the samples can exist in. This is followed by a hi-hat part on eighth notes that establishes the tempo at about 100 beats per minute. When line 10 is completed, a beat kicks in, and within 8 bars the vocal verse plays for a couple of repeats. The game's intensity and development will stay roughly the same until 20 lines are completed, at which point the vocal verse repeats, followed by the bridge. The movement and rotation sounds also change, with rotation triggering single piano notes and movement triggering ride cymbal samples. Once the line count is achieved, the transition stays in tempo, but the beat division increases by 2 and 4 and on up to 16 stuttering repeats before the generic explosion transition takes you to the next level. The next level we're going to analyze is called Ritual Passion. As far as the sound palette is concerned, usually rotation basically gives you variations on woodblock sounds of some kinds or another. And then moving the pieces side to side, there's occasionally a little bit more of a sharper kind of glass or metal transient percussive hit that happens. The hard drop is an even more pronounced woodblock sound, and the line completion sound is a very prominent bell, which can be anywhere between 2, 3, even 5 hits. And all through this, you also get these occasional drum hits and things like that that are clearly indicating that things are going to get intense. Adding to that, there are more loops and more things like that that kind of keep a constant sort of rhythmic buildup as things are going on. So again, it's kind of anticipating that you're eventually going to get to this 10-line limit. And once you finally hit that, then there's a huge, really awesome sort of typical EDM dance music, kind of house music buildup. And then eventually the whole thing really takes off with a kick drum and everything like that, and a constant sort of rhythmic vocal background of different kinds. You get a substantial clap that is basically whenever you move the piece side to side. And when you are rotating the piece, you get a very percussive shout. It's going to pretty much stay like that with that level of intensity until we hit the 20-line mark. And then at the 20-line mark, it will break into sort of a little bit of like kind of a breakdown a little bit. There's like a little bit, whatever amounts to the bridge, effectively. And this basically sort of static and hypnotic kind of vibe continues pretty much until the end of the level once you hit the 30-line requirement, and then the transition is going to happen. It will raise pitch, and then it will basically transition into the generic explosion particle effect, and that ends the level at that point. So, to conclude with, basically this is a pretty simple view, believe it or not, of what's going on with the music system inside Tetris Effect. As always, of course, the devil's in the details. Many of these levels can change key or mode, which can create some significant hurdles even with fancy middleware options available. So in addition to the composer, of course, the implementer and the programmer had a lot of work to have to manage everything in order to keep it all in sync. And as a rule, you have to understand that game engines do not normally have very precise musical timing, which is why rhythm-based games can often present a challenge to developers. At any rate, we're going to wrap things up for now, and we hope you enjoyed this. All right, folks, that was it for the Tetris Effect. I hope you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed putting it all together. It's a really, really fantastic game, super immersive, really kind of like, a wonderful journey. And of course, I've got the VR version, which is even more immersive than just the general PC version. But anyway, so the thing is that we will be continuing to do this music series, and we have also been doing a lot of other kinds of things. If you haven't been watching our channel lately, you've got a lot of cool things. We got some stuff where I'm actually in Unreal and learning blueprints kind of almost for the first time, and also a little bit about meta sounds as well, doing my own kind of projects and stuff like that. Also been doing the Unity scripting short series. We're continuing on with coroutines and stuff like that. And we are also going to potentially have ourselves a speed run at some point in time, I believe, and we'll see what happens. Just stay tuned. If you want to back us in any way, shape, or form, you can do so on the Patreon at the $6 or the $12 level. And also, if you have an idea for a game that you'd like us to cover in this particular thing, please let us know. Put something down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, do all of those things that people do, basically. And we'll see you again. So I hope this helps you get your game audio on. We'll see you next time. Bye.